Hey guys, this is Theo with Powerwash.com. Today we're just going to be going about nozzles, different nozzle sizes, really just how to calculate it for you, your team, just to make sure that we're doing everything correctly and really just to make sure we go about doing things the way that needs to be done. Here at Powerwash.com, we've got two major nozzles. We've got your standard quick connect ones and we've got your V-Jet ones. If we notice, there's gonna be quite a big difference between the two. One of them's gonna be threaded, one of them's gonna be quick connect. These ones just go at the end of your standard gun, right? You just quickly swap them in, swap them out. This one isn't gonna be so easy to do. It's gonna be more for like your standard 4-port J-Rod setup, or if you've got surface cleaners, just screws in the bottom of your bar, or other applicable uses that you would use that for. It's gonna be available in the same spray patterns, the same orifice sizes, so that won't really be a problem in choosing them if you really like one or the other. But a few things that we're gonna go over here is we're gonna go over these quick connect nozzles and the differences in these colors. So the orifice size, what that is just if you look at the nozzle there, you'll see a hole, just how large in diameter the hole is. It's really all it is. And then there's a certain number associated with each size to try and help you determine which one's best for you and your pressure washer. So on these quick connect nozzles over here, we're gonna notice we have a variety of colors.
Wow, look at all the colors, man.
So starting from the right side over here to the left, it's going to be the 0 degree is going to be red, always. The 15 degree is going to be yellow. 25 is going to be green. The white is going to be your 40, and this is going to be your soap nozzle, which is like, I believe, a 65. They're color coded like that for a reason, to try and help you out, try to help you determine which one you need to use real fast. You're not like staring at the nozzle trying to read the number that's on it. The soap nozzle is a little bit different though. It does have a larger orifice size. That way it can pull soap through your chemical injector that you're using for your system. So real quick guys, I just want to go over the importance of choosing the right nozzle size for you and your system here. You might think, well, I mean, it just doesn't matter. A nozzle's a nozzle, right? Well, in fact, that's not true. If you just go down to your local Home Depot and pick up a package of nozzles without really thinking about too much of what's going on, you can seriously damage your pump, you can damage your unloader, you can mess up like your relief valves, you can cause a lot of problems, and really it can destroy your whole system altogether. So what we're doing here today is we're gonna try and talk about a few things and how to prevent that, how to prevent creating these problems for you and for your team here at Powerwash.com. So there's actually a formula for calculating these orifice sizes for you, try to help you keep things lined up a little bit easier. If you don't like using math, you don't like calculating things, most places will have a little nozzle chart that you can go through your different options and areas that you want to use and just kind of follow the lines and it'll guide you to what you need. So just for example, how to read this one in particular. So here at the top, we're gonna have the PSI. Here on the left, it's going to show you the nozzle size that it recommends. And in the middle, there's going to be a bunch of gray area. And this is all gallons per minute. So if you notice, right, let's say you've got 3,000 PSI, you're running 8 gallons a minute. That'll be about right here between these two numbers here. And then we'll slide all the way down and that'll be about a 9 orifice size for you. So that's basically how you read a nozzle chart in basics. What we're going to kind of do now is go over definitions and what this all really means. So I'm going to show you the method behind the madness here and the formula that really just makes this all happen. So I've got this big old board behind me. It's got a lot of information on it. I just kind of want to go over some of it with you guys here. Over on the right side over here, we've got a bunch of numbers. It doesn't really mean anything to you, but let me explain to you how this works. So on these nozzles, I've got on my table here, there's going to be 5 numbers that show up usually on these numbers, usually 4 or 5. The first 2 is going to be your angle of spray. So if it's a 0, 0, it's going to be a 0 degree nozzle. If it's a 2, 5, it's going to be a 25 degree nozzle. If it's a 6, 0, it's going to be a 60 degree nozzle, so on and so forth. These next 3 numbers that you see here is going to be your orifice size, right? So on this example here, we have a 2504, and that means you have 25 degrees with a 4.0 nozzle size. So these last 2 at the end is the half. So it'd be 4.5, or if it was a 5, it'd be 5.0, so on and so forth. The number ahead would just be like, it'd be a 10 nozzle, 20 nozzle, so on and so forth. But that's how you determine what nozzle size you're actually using with the current nozzle you have to try and determine if you need to update it, if you need to change it, what's going on. really to read where you're at. So I want to go over now is some of the definitions and stuff behind this, just to kind of give you guys an understanding of what you're reading, what you're looking at on your systems. That way you can accurately get this stuff correct. So the first thing is GPM. You're going to see that a lot. It means gallons per minute. So it's going to be the volume of water that your pump should be using every minute. So this is most of the time, it's just going to be labeled straight on the pump or pressure washer that you're using or your system. And if you want to try and figure it out, you could fill up a 5-gallon bucket over time or something like that, time it and figure it out for yourself. But it should let you know for your pump. If you're not, you can look it up and pull it up from General Pump or whatever manufacturer your pump is. So this is one part of it. There's 3 parts to the equation here that calculate your nozzle size. The second part is going to be your nozzle number or nozzle size or orifice size. This is all the exact same thing here. So if you ever hear one of these, it's exactly the same. Don't get too confused, don't worry about it. So this is just how wide the opening is on any specific nozzle. So as I said earlier, it's just this diameter here. If it's larger, you have a wider orifice size, it's a higher number. If it's smaller, you have a lower orifice size, it's a lower number. The next unit is going to be PSI. This is just pounds per square inch, which is basically just how much pressure or force your pump is exerting at any given moment. It goes into like your cleaning power and how well you can clean things, your abrasiveness, just really what your pump can do for you. The gallons per minute with your PSI determines your nozzle size. These are 3 completely separate items here. So there's something to keep in mind, is that the nozzle size is not your gallons per minute. A lot of people think this, which is not true. The reason why is because it would be if you're running 4,000 PSI. So on a 4,000 PSI basis, your nozzle size is your gallons per minute. So if you're running 8 gallons a minute, then you would have an 8.0 nozzle size if you're running 4,000 PSI. But if you're running 3,000 PSI on an 8-gallon a minute machine, that'll give you too much pressure and create problems. So we're going to show you how that works here. I'm going to bring up the formula and how all that gets put together and try to make it a little bit simpler for you to understand. So we see on this side of the board is just this whole nozzle, really ugly looking thing. There's a lot to that, but I mean, as I said, you don't really have to use it. It's just for demonstration purposes. We're just going to kind of go through it though, how it works. So if you want to use it, you can calculate it for yourself, right? So this is just gallons per minute multiplied by the square root of 4,000 divided by your PSI. And that's going to give you your nozzle size that's needed. So what you first want to do is you want to take the 4,000, divide it over your PSI, square that, and then multiply it by your gallons per minute. And that'll finish out the equation for you. So an example that I have down below here is we're running an 8-gallon a minute machine at 3,000 PSI, like our Wolverine that we sell here at Powerwash.com, right? And that gives us a 9.24 orifice size. So what we did is we took 4,000, divided it by 3,000, you square that, multiply it by 8, and it comes out to this. Well, you're like, well, Theo, I don't know what to do now. I'm in between 2 nozzle sizes. So you can actually go for a 9.0 or a 9.5. It's really up to you what you're trying to do, what you're trying to optimize. A 9.0 is going to optimize your PSI. A 9.5 is going to optimize your GPM. If you go up in nozzle size, it's going to lower your PSI. If you go down in nozzle size, it's going to increase your PSI. That's just basic standard. Just kind of how you want to do it. It's up to you. We personally here at Powerwash.com recommend going up. We prefer going up rather than going down usually. All right, guys, keep in mind that the degree of spray has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. So that's just depending on how much area you're trying to hit. If you're trying to hit straight, you're trying to get 25, 45, so on and so forth, does not determine your nozzle size. Your degree of spray has nothing to do with your nozzle size. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of our other nozzles that we have here and why you might want to use different degrees of spray. All right, guys, so we're really just going to talk about degree of spray now for the nozzles. I mean, there's not too much to this, but the red one, for example, is a 0-degree tip. What it's going to do is going to allow it to shoot further, shoot higher, shoot out more. But keep in mind, all your pressure is focused into a single point. So that is going to create a lot more pressure in a single area and could create problems if you try to wash something that's a little bit more sensitive with it. So if I was trying to like wash a wall over here with a 0-degree tip, I can just carve my name in it. That's not really something that you want to do. So for example, when you're like washing buildings or other things that you don't need that much angle of force of pressure, you can use one of these like 40-degree tips and it'll fan it out a little bit more, make it a little bit easier on you trying to get things done properly. Obviously, you'll have a little bit more cleaning power with something like a 0 degree tip just because all your force is focused into a certain point. But these different degrees of spray and spread just allows you to customize what you want to do and where you want to use them. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is these Jrods that we have here at Powerwash.com. All right, so what you can do is you can attach 4 different nozzles in it. A lot of people use them for like soft washing, or if they just get really tired of carrying these quick couplers around in their pockets. So one of the things about them is you use them with these V-Jet or the Meg nozzles. You just screw them in, getting nice and tight in there, and you just quickly swap them out. So what you would do is you would take your little quick coupler, your socket, attach and detach as necessary and needed. And it's all in one place, so you're not really gonna have a problem misplacing your quick connect nozzles. It's a lot better in my personal opinion. This setup that I have right here on my hand, this is for soft washing. It's got larger orifice sizes to lower your PSI. So one of the things that you can actually do with an orifice size, you can increase it to lower the pressure that you are using. You don't want to decrease your orifice size because then you're building more pressure and that can damage your pump. But increasing the orifice size is fine. So for soft washing, you don't want to pump 3,200 PSI on a house. So what a lot of people do is they'll increase the orifice size to decrease the pressure about 100, 125, 150 PSI, and they'll use that with their pressure washers so they don't need a dedicated soft wash system. So this one here is for a 7 to 8 gallon a minute machine. What it does is it's got 4 different nozzles on here. They've got their different uses and meanings. So this is actually the long one that you notice is called an assassin nozzle.
Assassin.
What that's going to allow you to do is when you're pulling soap, it allows the soap to shoot much higher and much further. So that way you don't have to get on the roofs or things like that when you're doing house washing. It's for drawing soap. So if you're trying to use an assassin nozzle without drawing soap, you're not going to get the same results in the distance. So we're going to have 2 0 degree tips on this J-Rod here that we use for our 7 to 8 gallon minute machines. One of them is going to be a 060, one's a 020. Then we're going to have 2 25 degree tips on here. One is going to be a 2560, a 2520. And if you notice, this is going to be the zeros are going to be for your highs. Your 25 degrees are going to be for your lows. The larger ones, the 60 size orifice sizes, those are going to be for your soaps. And the smaller orifice ones, those are going to be for your rinse. So you got your high soap, high rinse, low rinse. That's really what it's for. It's to keep them all nice and together for you. That way whenever you're switching, when you're doing stuff, it's all in the same place. So you're not really doing too much difference in your ability to do things. We do sell these as kits together here with the J-Rod and the assassin nozzle. We also sell them without the assassin nozzle if you don't like the extra expensive getting that extra distance out. For these quick couplers, we do also sell these in kits as well. It comes with 4 your standard degree tips. It doesn't come with a soap nozzle. That would be a little bit different. So I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about some of these specialty nozzles, kind of like these turbo nozzles or like this M5 twist that you would see on like an X-Jet. This one's just like a 0 degree tip nozzle that we have here, like the red one for the quick connect. Just it bounces it around ever so you get more area of spray. So if you're doing concrete or you're doing curb sides, it makes it a little bit easier than just standing back and forth with the nozzle and going. It's a lot more helpful. This twist nozzle here is just kind of like using these quick connect tips here or the J-Rod setup for 4 different nozzles. You just twist the top and adjust your nozzle size instead of having to switch them in and out. There's a lot more different nozzles and nozzle sizes. You wanted me to go a little bit more into these products that I just showed you. You can leave a comment down below and we can look at doing that one in a future video for you guys. But that's really all I got here for you guys here today at Powerwash.com on these nozzles. Again, my name is Theo Serrano. I'm a sales rep here and we'll do our best here to help you out in any way we can. Be sure to check out our website. Again, we do have this nozzle chart on it for you guys. So if you've got questions on adjusting that nozzle size, you always give us a call. And be sure guys, if you really do like the content that we're putting out, we're doing our best for you here. Be sure to like and subscribe down below. We really appreciate it. You can even press the bell icon and that'll give you all the notifications for every time we upload new videos for you guys. We hope this video really helped you guys out. We'll see you next time.